Hi friends, welcome back. This is Louisiana Cooking and Living. If you're new to my channel, my name is Katie and I just want to introduce this little video. I've started a new little series called What We Eat in a Week, and that's what you're going to be seeing here today. If you're interested in any of the recipes of the food I'm making, just make a little comment in the comment box and I'll try to get a video maybe of those recipes. There is going to be one thing that you're going to see in here. It's some smoked chicken thighs, and I do have a video that's going to be coming out shortly. It's going to be that recipe. It's not really a recipe, it's just what we did to make that. With Labor Day coming up, I'm going to try and get some maybe some cookout idea videos coming out, and that's going to be one of those videos. So I just hope you enjoy this video, and if you like this video, I ask that you subscribe and maybe share it with somebody you think that's going to like it also, or any of my videos. It would just help me out to know what people are liking, and I can give you more content of what you're liking out there. I hope you enjoy this, and we'll get started.
So this was one of those nights where I talk about where I work nights as a nurse, and so I just do a quick throw something together. So this night I was going to make some Chinese food that I had bought from Trader Joe's. I think this is a Mandarin orange chicken and chicken fried rice. I'll show you in just a second. I put some avocado oil in the pan of both pans. And then there it is, the Mandarin orange chicken from Trader Joe's. You just heat this up in the skillet, and then the little sauce packet that fell right in. You heat up some water in the microwave and then just set the sauce packet in there to kind of thaw out, and then you pour it over the chicken once it's finished. And this is a chicken fried rice. Now when I buy food like this, it's already made, I always kind of doctor it up a little bit. So we'll see in a minute what I'm going to add to these. So I'm just giving this chicken a stir. We'll get this together real quick. This takes maybe 10 minutes to put this meal together. So it's a quick, nice meal to be able to throw together real quick for dinner. So this is some minced garlic that I'm adding to the fried rice, and then I also add it to the chicken in a minute. So I end up adding coconut aminos to the fried rice. That is a healthier substitute for soy sauce. Soy sauce or any soy product will affect your hormones as a female, and so I try to avoid any soy products, so I use coconut aminos instead, and I'll show you that bottle also when we get to adding that into the fried rice. Just giving this a quick stir. I know you can't omit it from everything, and we do eat Chinese food out, so I know I'm getting soy sauce, but you just do the best you can where you can. So I substitute what I can at home. This was real quick. I think the chicken's pretty much almost done. I'm about to add the sauce packets to it. It's pretty good. I do add some red pepper flakes to get a little spice to it. We like our Chinese food to be a little spicy. So that's what I'm grabbing right now. It's just some crushed red pepper. And we'll add that to the skillet. After adding the sauce, I think I'm putting the sauce packets too. There we go. Here's the sauce. Like I said earlier, if you see anything, I know this is just a semi-homemade meal, I guess you could say, but if you see anything in the videos that you'd like to see, a video that just shows how I actually make a recipe, I'm not really showing too much here, just kind of showing what we're adding to it. But if there's something that you're interested in seeing, even if it's something you don't even see, if there's just something that you've always wondered, I wonder how you make that, just let me know. I love cooking. Seriously, crushed red pepper flakes. I love cooking. I just wanted to share this passion of mine with other people. I just have always loved cooking for people. We have 4 kids, and so just always cooked a lot of food with my kids growing up, and now that my kids are older, I love having people over and cooking for them also. So sometimes you'll see something that I made that's going to be for a big group of people. So here I am moving the fried rice over. I know there's some eggs already in it, but I like to add up that protein. And since we have an abundance of eggs right now from our chickens, I'll just put some extra scrambled eggs into the fried rice. Just add some more avocado oil to it. And then we're going to throw in some more eggs here to boost that protein. And scrambled eggs only take minutes to cook, so this doesn't really add much to the cooking time. There's those coconut aminos I was talking about. And you just use that like you do soy sauce. It's a soy sauce substitute. End up adding some frozen crushed garlic. Oh, this is some sesame oil. Not garlic, I'm sorry. Some frozen crushed ginger to this too. Again, you just kind of season to your taste anything that you're making. Sometimes if I'm following a recipe, I just kind of loosely follow it and just, because everybody's different. Everybody's tastes are different. What they want is different. It's just kind of something to follow. Only whenever I'm baking do I try to follow a recipe exactly, because that's more of a scientific thing of how it's the baking process with how things are, the rise or what you need to do for like a cookie, the texture you want. That's a certain process. So we'll just give these eggs a quick scramble and mix those into the rice, and this meal is almost done. I ended up serving this with, you'll see in a minute on the plate, I love that Trader Joe's has these individual French baguettes in the freezer section also. They're hard to find. They're in a white bag. I should have showed the bag to you, but they are so good to heat those up really quick, already made, because I love fresh bread. It's almost like you've made it yourself, but you'll see it on the plate when it comes up. I don't get to Trader Joe's often, but when I do, I like to stock up on things. I love that they have their organic seasoning, spices, herbs for $2. There's that baguette that I was talking about. Where they're like $4 or $5 just at Walmart, they're $2 at Trader Joe's. So this is the next night, and I decided to make breakfast that night because this is another night where I'm going to work. And breakfast is always a quick meal to make. So I'm just going to make some scrambled eggs real quick. I have some ham chopped up. I threw some butter in the skillet. I'm just throwing some ham in there to cook real quick. What I ended up doing with those leftovers, because I was home by myself that night before going to work, is I showed you before that I make breakfast burritos for my son for work in the mornings, is I took the leftover scrambled eggs from this and made his breakfast burritos with that. So nothing went to waste. Everything was eaten. Just sauteing up the ham here. And when you have an abundance of eggs, you try to find different ways to use your eggs up. So having a breakfast meal for dinner is a good way to use up your eggs. I don't know if you'll catch this. I'm putting a little bit of butter in with my eggs before I scramble it. My daughter told me that I should not have used a skillet. Let me just start with that. I love my all Clad Pans, but for some reason with scrambled eggs, I should just always stick with my cast iron. My scrambled eggs always stick to my aluminum pans. But when you're using cast iron, this little trick, if you put a little bit of butter in with your eggs when you scramble them up, it melts in the cooking process and causes the steam to make them fluffy instead of adding milk to your eggs, which some people do, which almost ends up turning your eggs watery instead of just fluffy. So that's a nice little trick I've learned from my daughter. Just add some salt and pepper to my eggs before I dump them in the skillet. I know you're supposed to heat your aluminum pans up before you add your eggs to them, but it doesn't matter. I mean, obviously my skillet's hot. I'm heating up the ham in there, but they still stick. But it's nice. It cleans up really easy though. ham a little crispy, which is the way I like it. You could put bacon in here. You could put sausage in here. You can leave out the protein since you're having eggs. But we just like to add a little bit of extra there, especially when it's going to be for a meal like this. So we're just going to scramble these up real quick with the salt and pepper. If you cook your bacon in the skillet, you could use the bacon grease. I just used the butter since I was doing the ham. If I'm doing bacon, I will leave the bacon grease in the skillet for my scrambled eggs. I just give these a quick scramble. So the previous night, whenever I did the Chinese, I made those scrambled eggs right there in the iron skillet for the fried rice and no stickage, but for some reason in my aluminum pans, they always stick. If you have a technique, a tip, a trick on how to make them not stick in your aluminum pans, please leave that in the comment below, because that's how we learn. I've watched cooking shows all my life growing up. My mom watched them and I watched them with her. And then you just, even if you're not making the exact recipe that you see in a cooking show, you do learn tips and tricks from those cooking shows. So if you have a tip or a trick on how to not let your eggs stick, please let me know and share it with others. So this night I also made like a hash brown patty, I guess. I got those at Trader Joe's also. And so I'm just going to put that on my plate. And then I toasted an English muffin. I love English muffins. And that's going to be my bread, is the English muffin for my side. Just using that silicone spatula, trying to scrape them up, but not over mix them also. They do turn out light and fluffy. Just gonna add a little cheese here. If you don't like cheese, you don't have to. This is just some cheddar cheese that we shred ourselves. Shredding cheese yourself is much better than buying it already shredded. They coat it in this, they call it cellulose, I think, on the packaging, but it's almost, I think, fine ground wood chips, I think, that they use to coat the cheese so it doesn't stick together on the packaging. So there's my English muffin. I'm going to just butter those up. Sometimes I'll do like a McDonald's egg McMuffin with English muffins. I love English muffins. And this is some home preserved strawberry preserves that I made that I'm about to put on one. The little label's hard to see, but this was homemade strawberry preserves. They're so good. And what I do, instead of using store-bought pectin, apples are full of pectin. And so I cook down apples, grate them up, cook them down, and that's what I use to thicken my preserves, is the natural pectin that's in apples. And then it's also a healthier option. I actually learned that trick from the America's Test Kitchen. All right, so here's the scrambled eggs ready to go. Just gonna plate that up. And they are super fluffy. They just have a coating on the bottom of my pan. But again, like I always say, this is real life. This isn't a professional cooking show. All right, this is the next night. And what I'm doing here is, if you follow me on Instagram, I made some garlic confit. And so the oil, the avocado oil that I cooked down the garlic in, I put that in this decanter jar so that I have garlic infused oil. And this is some organic ground beef I buy from Costco, and I'm going to add that to the skillet and we're going to brown that up. and I'm going to make a pasta. I think I've told you in the past, my son loves vodka sauce. And so I think I might just make my spaghetti sauce video. And so what I do, I'm going to show you here real quick how I make that. So we're going to brown this ground meat up. But vodka sauce, I think traditionally it does actually have vodka in it. But basically it's a tomato sauce or spaghetti sauce, and then you add cream to that. About a half and half ratio. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to get this meat browned up real quick. So I'm chopping a few onions here. Well, about a half an onion, chopping those up. Gonna add those to the brown, or in the process of browning ground meat. And here's some garlic that I buy. It's already peeled, organic garlic from Costco. That's what I use to make the garlic confit or my freeze-dried garlic and the garlic powder. I'm taking just a small handful of cloves here. I'm gonna crush those into the meat also. We love garlic in our house, so there's a lot of garlic added to my food. Again, it's up to your preference. If you don't want a lot of garlic, you don't add a lot of garlic. Just however much you like, you add. There's a joke that the recipe calls for 1 garlic. To me, that means 1 head of garlic, not just 1 clove of garlic. And so we're adding onions in, and then I'm going to crush that garlic into it. When you crush the garlic, it releases the oils from the garlic and the flavors, and get released a lot better than just chopping it. I like to crush my garlic. I have a garlic press is what it's called. You can get those on Amazon. I'll see if I can leave a link. I try to leave links in the description box of all the equipment I use in case there's something you see you're like, oh, that would be neat to have. I'd like to get that. And include quick links that you can go to Amazon or wherever I purchased it. I think most of my links are from Amazon. And you can just pick that up real quick. So just add some salt. I do use pink Himalayan salt. And also have Redmond real salt that I use just depending on what I have out that day. Here we are crushing the garlic. I used, 7, 8, 9 cloves that night, something like that. That package of meat is 1 pound, 1.3 pounds, I think is the way their packages of that organic ground meat is from Costco, which is a really good deal. I think it's 4 pounds for $20, so about $5 a pound, which is pretty much the same price as ground meat from Walmart. So it's really worth it to get that high quality ground meat. So give this a quick stir. I'm going to be adding some spaghetti sauce here that I home can. I'll leave a link to that video. Probably put a card up at the top. And if you can, if you want to can your own spaghetti sauce or just even make it, you don't have to can it. You can just make it to use it that day or whatever. And then you can follow along with that video if you'd like also. Oh, this is some spinach powder. I have freeze-dried some spinach and then ground it up and made powder, and just add that. Just add some extra vegetables to your dish. It's a quick, easy way to sneak in some vegetables to your kids if they don't like to eat vegetables. It doesn't matter if it's ground up and cooked in spaghetti sauce. It still has nutritional value. So I'll sneak that in. Sometimes I use shredded zucchini. You can use ground carrot powder also. So when I made my spaghetti sauce this past weekend, or the weekend prior to me cooking this, 2 of my jars did not seal. So I put those in the fridge, and that's why I'm using these tonight. I like to do my spaghetti sauce in pint jars and quart jars because I use my spaghetti sauce for pizza sauce. And so I like to have those pint jars to use for my pizza sauce. And then I have my quart jars when I make like a pasta or something. So here's my spaghetti sauce. And then we're going to add the heavy whipping cream to this to make our vodka sauce. And I was just showing you the spaghetti sauce in the jar there. Get this mixed up. It's amazing the sweetness that that whipping cream can add to the flavor of the sauce. It just makes it decadent. So here I'm just adding some shredded Parmesan. Again, we just shred that here in my house and just put it in a container in the fridge. Costco, that is another deal that Costco has, is they have the fresh Parmesan and Reggiano wedges for a really good price. And just bring it home. You can put it in the freezer. You can like shred it and put it in the freezer, or just shred some, put it in the fridge, and put the hunk in the freezer. Okay, if you saw my what we eat in a week, last week I made some, so here I am adding some rigatoni pasta. Sorry, I'm going to give that a mix. Anyway, I made some pizza last week, and I had thrown on some mini fresh mozzarella pearls. And I had some of those left, and I thought, I'm going to use those tonight. I don't want those to go to waste either. Try to use up everything. Try not to throw food away. If I have some leftover scraps or whatever, those will go to the chickens. But I try to use as much as I can for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up pouring this into that blue, I think it's a 7x11 pan that I have sprayed with some avocado oil to try and help the stickage. So we're going to put this in here. And I chopped up those mozzarella pearls into like 4 pieces. They're little tiny pearls, so I just chunked them up into like 4 little pieces of each one. And I'm going to just toss those over the top and then shake on some more Parmesan cheese. And then we'll cover this and put in the oven to bake. And that's what we had for dinner that night. My son was super happy. It was me and him that night for dinner. And so we ate maybe a third of this pan together because he eats quite a bit. And then the next day he ate all the rest of it. He loves that vodka sauce. So there they are. They look like marshmallows. I think I mentioned that in the pizza video, but they look like marshmallows just sit on top. But they are just little pieces of fresh mozzarella. And here we are shaking on that Parmesan cheese. My little doggy's always at my feet. And those little 3 little rolls on my bowl there, those I get at Costco also. Those are called, I think, Brazil bites maybe, and they're like the Brazilian cheese bread. Those are in the freezer section also. Quick side to anything, so good. And they're gluten-free. That's another plus for those. But those are so good. It's basically cheese and tapioca flour, I think I've made them one time, but they're better to just go ahead and have them, especially when they're on sale. Then you can't beat, because the amount of cheese that are in these, they're kind of expensive to make. So that was dinner that night. And then something else I like to do, I did this on the night I made that pasta, is I keep these just, I make cookie dough and then I spoon with a cookie scoop on a sheet pan, freeze these cookie dough balls, and then if we want dessert, it's quick, just pop those in the oven. So this next night I got homegrown sweet potato. I'm going to roast in the oven with these chopped up red onions here. My sweet potatoes are still a little small. I only harvested 1 plant, and so I just wanted to see what size they were. But I'm just trying to give them a few more weeks. Again, this is some more of that garlic infused oil that I'm going to drizzle over the top. Oh, look, I changed my mind. This was the garlic confit. I'm going to spoon those cloves of garlic. over the top with the oil. That they're you have to, when you cook, when you roast your garlic or cook it down like this, in order to keep it preserved and not go bad or rancid, you have to make sure it is submerged in the oil. So I did strain off a lot of the oil to put in my decanter bottle, but I did leave some oil in the jar here with the garlic to make sure it is totally covered. So I'm drizzling some of the oil over the top. This is an avocado oil that I cooked these garlic cloves down in. They were super soft and sweet. So just gonna spoon some of the oil and the garlic over the sweet potatoes, the onions here. And I think I just put some salt and pepper on it and threw those in the oven. I put this on like 400 maybe to roast those. So just pop those in the oven. They take about 45 minutes to get them super crispy. Now this was a big pork loin that I bought at Costco that I think it was maybe $20 for the whole pork loin, and I was able to get, I'm trying to count now, I think 15 of these chops out of it. And so what I did was I cut a slit, I'm going to show you in a second, cut a slit most of the way through, and then I seasoned them up, and then I browned them in the skillet. Now they're not cooked all the way through. I just browned them to get a little crispy on the edge. And then here we are making a homemade meal, but sometimes you have to have your little quick tricks. This is just stovetop stuffing that I cooked according to the package directions. And see, the meat's still raw on the inside, but I'm gonna stuff these with the stuffing. And then I put, whatever's left, I just kind of made a little bed underneath the chops with the stuffing. And then I'm going to put these in the oven with the sweet potatoes to cook alongside. And then I just cooked them until the temperature, I'm trying to remember, pork is, I think, 145. Do not go by that if it's not correct. I'm just trying to remember off the top of my head. I think pork is 145. So I just made a little bed underneath them too, and the little crispy edges of the stovetop was really good. That one was smaller, so I did not put a slit in it. I just put a nice serving underneath it while it was cooking. And then, of course, nothing goes to waste. My chickens got a treat of some stovetop the next day. With the drippings that cook out of the pork down onto that stovetop, it's really good. And then when they're crispy, the little crunchy edges. And there they are when they're fully cooked. And then I also made, to go with that meal, some fried cornbread. I think they're called hoe cakes because they would whip this up when they were out, and they would use their hoe from one of their gardening tools and put it over the fire, and they could use that to fry these on. That's what I'm remembering from history. So it's cornbread batter. I will link also like a little card up here at the top of a video I did where I showed you how I actually make my cornbread batter. And I baked it in that one, but this one I love this option of just really quick frying them up like a pancake. I know this was kind of a brown meal that night where we had the sweet potatoes and the pork chop and the cornbread, but sometimes it's not just the eye appeal, it's also what the flavor of the food, and this is a very tasty, flavorful meal. So you just cook it up like a pancake. We just put a little butter on it whenever we eat them. Just use a little avocado oil in the bottom of the pan to to cook those. There we go, perfect golden brown. I love cornbread. So in my video that I'll link about the cornbread, I do have my quote-unquote secret ingredient for making cornbread that makes it, cornbread can be very dry, and I don't like dry cornbread. So I do talk in that video about what I use in order to make my cornbread nice and moist. Because I do like some cornbread, especially with like some red beans or white beans or a pork roast, which is what that other video is. It's about a pork roast that I cooked, and I made the cornbread alongside of it. And of course, we had sweet tea along with this. We drink tea pretty much every night with dinner. Okay, this was our anniversary. I'm gonna have to talk real fast. This was a little salad. We went to a restaurant called Dozy Place. This was some of the new potatoes boiled in crawfish boil. They also have home cut fries, and then your steak you order. I think the smallest size is 2 pounds. So it's definitely something you share when you go here. And then their bread on the side here is these southern fried biscuits, and they're fried with some little butter there, and they have honey. All right, this is the next night, and we smoked these chicken thighs. My husband got a new smoker, and we wanted to just try something really quick to throw in there the first time. So I'm just putting some salt on them and some pepper. And this is my Cajun seasoning I make. I also sell that on Etsy if you are interested in some. So sprinkling a little bit of that on there, and then some, I think I'm going to end up putting some garlic powder also. I am going to put a video out. Yes, this is the garlic powder. Like I mentioned earlier, things that you might, when you're looking for ideas on what to cook out for Labor Day, this is going to be one of my videos in that series on ideas on what to cook for Labor Day. So just going to get these a sprinkle, going to flip them over and season up the other side. And then he's going to put those on the smoker, and he smoked those while we were at church. Okay, we got the other side seasoned up here. And here's that new smoker, and we're going to get this in. He's using mesquite pellets. It's a pellet smoker. Looks like we're going to be able to smoke a lot of meats at one time in here, which I'm going to love doing. He ended up smoking these. I know he got the temperature a little higher at first, but he ended up smoking them, I think he told me, on 220 for 5 hours. They were super juicy, super tender, super moist. The flavor was really good. The outside was crispy. They were very good that night. And I bought at World Market, I guess you'll see it in a second, this potato pancake there. It was okay, not the best. And then we just had some garlic cheese bread there on the side. It was a very good quick dinner for after church on the Sunday night.
I hope you enjoyed seeing what we eat in a week. It's just a little snippet of the things that we try to have, I guess, at family dinners most every night. I do work nights, and so not every night we get to sit down and eat together as a family. But I'll just kind of maybe share some videos that you might enjoy watching. If you want to watch any more of my videos, I just ask you to hit subscribe, and you can follow along with this adventure. See you next time. Thanks for watching.